I'm going to give Josie a moment to start the YouTube stream if it hasn't already been started. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Good to see everybody again, at least virtually, and hear some familiar voices. It's been a while. As usual, we have a little document that lists some of the updates that we have to share at the moment. And there's a lot of stuff that's also kind of in progress right now that isn't quite ready to share. So there will probably be a lot of updates also next month. They're just not quite ready to share yet. So apologies for that. But the main thing is that, as you can see in the list of updates, dealers and applications are open. They are still open for the next couple of weeks. They will close on May 12th. We're targeting getting registration itself open on May 1st. I think it's actually more or less ready. We're just testing some final things. And more or less same thing is true for hotel booking. I think we're just doing some final testing, and we should be able to open that up on May 1st. And we're going to open that specifically at noon for everybody. So far, the only people who will be able to access room booking is going to be only the people who volunteered in 2022 and put in at least 8 hours. So that seems to be most of our volunteers. There's very few who put in less than 8 hours. That should be the majority of our volunteers.
That is, yeah, by far, it's like about 80%.
Yeah. And so, Levi, is it safe to say if somebody does not have that status or did not receive that email, they can just contact HR and they know that they did help out for 8 hours, but maybe it wasn't
Yes.
recorded properly?
Yeah, absolutely. We can research it and find out what happened and chase it down. We always have a few. It happens every year. It's almost inevitable at this point.
Yep.
But if you didn't get that email and you should have, and you did do at least 8 hours, by all means, please reach out.
Okay. And we will, it's still going to be several more weeks before anything is going to be opening, any room booking is going to be opening, even for dealers, much less for the general public. So the volunteers are going to have first crack at rooms, and will have first crack at rooms for at least several weeks. So there will be time to sort out problems like that if they occur.
And also for people, if you're planning on rooming multiple staff members or multiple people that got a link, those links can be given to other people. Just they'll see your real first name, your real last name, and then they change the information. But those can be given to others.
Yes. So the booking link is intentionally designed so that you can share it with a friend and let a friend take your booking slot instead of yourself. That is specific. That is by design. The only thing that will happen is when they use that link, they will see your own personal information auto-populated, which they can then delete and put in their own information. So if I wanted to give my room to my parents, for example, I could give them that link, and then they could book the room for themselves and just put in their own name instead.
Geico, you can't give away your room.
I'm going to share my room with 3 other staffers, so it's only going to use one of our 4 slots.
Hey, that's our MO. Another reminder for people is, I believe that this is still the case. It will take the first night deposit when you book, but like if you are on the fence, your rooms are cancelable up until con. So go ahead and get your benefit, but cancel it as when you're not going to, if you're not going to make it.
Yeah, better to book it now and then cancel
48
later.
hours
Yeah, it should still be the same. I'll double check, but it should be the same 48-hour.
Please try and cancel at least a week early if you can.
Yeah. If you know you're not going, certainly cancel earlier than that, so that the hotel has a little bit more advance notice.
So that we can fill it.
Is the booking? Sorry, are the rates cheaper this year since we're during the week? I haven't had a chance to look at the link.
Yeah, they're about 30% cheaper. What did the final number come out to, Levi?
If you want to give the numbers, I can.
Yeah, we can give the numbers here. We're going to have it on the website in a couple hours here, probably. So, or
let me just
worst case
really
tomorrow.
Quick.
It's fine to tell people the numbers now. I'm scrolling back up to find it.
Including all taxes and fees, not including the gratuity, the housekeeping gratuity, which is not automatically put on. Queen and Queen Deluxe rooms are both going to be $155 a night. King and King Deluxe rooms will be $138 a night, which is about I'd have to do the math, but I think it's actually more like a 40% decrease.
Nice.
So I used when I originally said it was a 30% decrease, I used a typical 4-night stay.
Okay.
And because the old weekend days were much more expensive than the shoulder days,
yeah,
the total worked out to be about $30 or 30% cheaper.
I remember that
overall.
And is that with or without the resort fee?
That's with everything.
With resort fee and taxes attached to the resort fee.
That's awesome. That
That's
was a
the
big
complete
gripe
out
from
the door price
everyone.
is complete out the door price is $138 for kings, $155 for queens. I'm rounding up to the next dollar.
And this year it is going to be the same rate for every night. So
And
there's none of this, the $250 night and the 100. Yeah, no, it's all the same.
None of that nonsense anymore.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, which nights are included in the room block?
Primarily it should be the main nights are included. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. And then there is a pretty substantial amount for Sunday night as well, which is the day when people tend to come early. There's pretty much nothing for Friday night.
What about Saturday night?
And the Saturday prior, there's also almost nothing in the block.
Okay, that's going to be a problem for people doing load in, but okay.
Well, we'll sort that out.
If we end up filling that block, it may be a conversation point to figure out if we can get more. But
yep.
Also, if it's a weekend and it's not a con weekend like ours, sometimes you can get deals if you have their little card to delete it.
There's also potentially the option of booking your room on block and then adding shoulder days at rack rate by just calling them and asking those to be added. What that price will be, I don't know.
Or use elites or comps or whatever you have.
Yeah. You are very quiet. I don't know if that's just me or...
No, he's quiet.
Oh, okay.
It might just be a setting. So yeah, okay. But yeah, my concern is if I'm doing load in, load out again, I'll want to arrive early and stay late. So
of course,
what was going on there.
Yeah.
And when you guys do book your rooms for staff members that are over 12 hours, once again, make sure your names and additional names on the reservation match what is in Concat. So if your name doesn't match, it becomes a lot harder for us to give that 12-hour staff benefit of the night off.
Yes, please. And that's just kind of like previous years. It's the same system. We look for your name on a room, and if we find it, the GSR takes a night off of your room.
Yep. And was just talking to Joy on the phone about that a few days ago. It is important that we get that done several weeks in advance of the con, preferably a month, because all of those have to be done manually one at a time. And it takes Joy a while to enter those comps.
Woof.
Yep.
And there are quite a lot of them, I believe over 200.
Yeah.
Yep. Any other questions you guys have?
I'm assuming we have the pool every night of the week.
We do have it for all 4 nights. Yeah, we actually were able to get it for all 4 this time.
Nice.
Because we're in the middle of the week and we're not competing with demand for the pool on weekends. So
I guess this is more a specific me question, but are you intending to have a dance every night at the pool?
I would like to. Yes, we're already paying for it, so it would be nice to be able to load that up with DJs if we can.
I will add it to my notes.
Should be a 4-hour block starting at 8:30 and ending at midnight 30.
Midnight 8:30 to midnight 30. Okay.
each night. We also have language in there for if it starts late for whatever reason, that it gets to run late so that it's a full 4 hours.
If it starts late due to hotel issues.
Oh, well, right, yeah, of course. Right, not if it starts late because it's our own damn fault. But
is the pool open that time of year, like late October?
They are also,
it will be.
Yeah, it will be open, and they are going to do their damnedest to heat it as much as possible as well. They're going to throw every bit of heat they have at their disposal at those pools, but I think it may still only be the upper pool, and the lower one I think is closed for the season at that point.
I thought that we had specifically made sure that we would have the pools open.
Yeah, we have the lower pool. Yes, we do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll have to double check the contract, but I thought that was part of it.
I was under that impression too.
Okay.
Is the lower pool able to be heated, or is only the upper
Yes.
pools? Okay.
Both.
Yeah.
I believe we have a specific temperature that they're supposed to keep it at.
Yep. Although I would say from a technical standpoint, I would say it's probably pretty safe to assume that the large lower pool will not be able to get as hot as the smaller upper pool. just because it's a lot of water, and it's a lot more surface area for that water to lose heat through.
It was still a vibe last year though with the not last year, but when we were in October, with the hot tubs, everyone was crowded in those and enjoying the thermals. So I think that'll happen again.
Well, they always keep the hot tubs hot.
Oh yeah.
They're supposed to also turn on all the like overhead heaters and stuff too for the sitting and chilling spaces.
I am personally looking forward to showing up on Saturday and using one of those hot tubs when there's no one around.
Amen.
Question from the chat. Might have missed it, but is there a staff floor this year? I believe the answer is yes. Levi probably has more details on that.
Yes, there is absolutely a staff floor this year. The staff floor application is ready to go. If you received that email letting you know that you will be eligible to book, it also has a link you can click on to that application. The application, I said it's open now. I was wrong. My wording was incorrect. It's actually going to be open the same time the room's open. So the intention was that after you get your room and you book and you get your confirmation number, then you apply for the staff floor.
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess the application isn't very useful if you don't have your confirmation number yet, huh?
Exactly.
Oops. Oh, well.
As a quick side note on that, if you need your confirmation number, you'll get an email from hotel@goblfc.org before you get an email from the GSR. So don't panic if it takes like 10 to 15 minutes for your email from the GSR to come through confirming your room.
And we want that GSR number, not the passkey, because that's what the hotel will know about. And as always on staff floor, every year we're not able to get everybody in there. So it's definitely harder if you're trying to book a double queen on the staff floor or request for one of those. And you'll need to book a Sierra room that they're, whatever it was, the Sierra.
Also, I guess it's worth mentioning if it's like previous years, it's still a request and they still may move you.
That is correct. We had a few people, especially on the party floor, who just because the rooms were taking so long to get ready, accepted a room on a different floor and thought they would be moved. That does not happen. It cannot happen. It will not happen. Once you are in a room, you are in a room.
Yep.
Another question from the chat. For those who want staff floor and are rooming with other staff, should they each submit an entry for better odds or just one?
No, just one for each room. And it should be the person who's kind of has booked the room per se.
Yeah.
The primary name on the reservation.
And the staff floor applications are going to stay open for, I think, several weeks, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Until until general availability, until the first wave of general booking, and then we'll close it and we'll go through, and everyone who entered will get some form of email to let you know what happened, whether you were picked, you weren't picked, you were picked, but you said you were okay to go to a king, so you go to a king. We will let you know one way or the other.
Yep. Yeah, we usually for years now we've consumed all the queen rooms on that floor for sure, and then still had more requests than we can accommodate.
Yeah.
But for king rooms, we frequently have several extra rooms left on the staff floor that are not consumed by anyone, and sometimes just end up going to general availability. I think they usually overflow to dealers first.
Yeah,
but
dealers, and in fact, the form does specifically mention if you were a dealer, you are welcome to apply.
Yep, but yeah, dealers are basically only going to get king rooms or nothing on that floor.
Yep.
Are there connected kings on that floor?
I don't think there are any connected rooms at all on that floor.
Okay,
if I recall correctly.
There are some, but it's really, I don't recall off the top of my head which ones or what types.
It's like I could probably give up a king or a queen for 2 kings, but
if any, Levi, I don't think it's matching room types. Like I think it had to be like a king to a double queen or something like that. But I don't remember any being there.
Yeah, you put like kids in one.
Yeah, I think every connected pair that I've ever seen in that hotel is always a king room connected to a queen room. I don't think I've ever seen a king connected to a king or a queen connected to a queen.
Okay.
So
the connected rooms are around the suites at the end of the hallways, if I recall too.
Yeah, I don't remember. I have a chart somewhere, and I can't be bothered to look it up right now.
Yeah, there are definitely, I can tell you with 100% certainty, unless they've done some kind of renovation in the last year that I don't know about, there are no suites on the staff floor, which is very sad because I would be the first one to go grab one.
Yep. There are a couple of suites on the first floor if you're okay with a smoking room. And that's actually a thing I recommend to people if they just really hate elevators, and we've even said it on the website. I wrote that language. Like, if you absolutely despise elevators, one option is to request a smoking room, and that will force you to be on the first floor.
They smell so bad.
But yeah, they smell pretty awful. But if you're a smoker, then
hey, more
power to you, I guess.
Another question from both the chat and YouTube. Are we planning to have the bowling center open overnight and it'll still be our free to bowl?
Yes. Both. Yes to both questions.
Which nights do we have that?
It should be all of them. So it should be Monday night all the way through to Thursday night. So right after opening ceremonies on Monday night, up to right after Dead Dog on Thursday night. And that will once again be midnight to 6 a.m. I'm almost positive.
I would like to expand that question a bit more too. As far as all of our other amenities that we usually have at BLFC, go-karts, etc., what are those all looking like with the new contract? We still have those?
Yeah, no change to any of those. They're all still the same.
We still have them. Cool.
Yep.
If people want to make a request for the first floor or other general requests, what would be the best way to file those?
You just do that directly in Passkey when you book your room in the notes field. Same place you ask for like extra pillows or whatever. Or, ask housekeeping to build a pillow for it inside your room.
Give me all the towels. Don't ask questions.
Please don't do that.
How many towels will you give me?
You may have 1/10 of one towel. You get a washcloth.
I have a need for a tower. I need a fort. It will be my fiefdom.
But going right after municipal fees and permitting and stuff starts at $10,000 for a pillow fort in the Reno Sparks area.
Oh, okay. Thank you for looking that up. I appreciate it.
I'm sure they wouldn't suspect anything if everybody on the staff floor simultaneously asked for one extra pillow for their room.
Oh my god. Oh,
why do I need
to know better than to say things like this?
Do not tempt me.
God, imagine just like putting every pillow in one room. That'd be, oh man.
Y'all do realize that HR is in this call, right?
Do you want a pillow fort?
Yes, I do.
I want a pillow fort.
Oh my god. Okay, anyway, moving on.
One other thing for the staff floor application, do make sure you have your volunteer application in, and it is staff floor, so we do go in and cross-check that list. So if you don't have a volunteer application in, you do get thrown out, so make sure you get that in.
Yes. Every time we go through it, if you don't have an application on file, it's like, oh, disqualified. And we did disqualify several people last year because of that. Please do not be that person.
I think I only just remembered to put my volunteer application in like last week.
You just yes. The question in the chat, yes, volunteer applications are open. Go to the reg.goblfc.org or just go off the link off the website, and it's in the registration system. So go ahead and get those in.
Yep. Yeah, I think we've had applications open for a month or two now, right?
Yes. Now I have to double check.
But we haven't processed any volunteer applications yet, right? They're just open.
Yes, they're open. They're all pending.
Okay.
We are still doing testing on the automation. That is, I'm pushing that back to about mid-May, depending on when we can get things settled. But I promise you, we will get those done very soon.
Okay. And then I can start my quest at keeping the unprocessed number at 0, which is like impossible.
Question from the YouTubes. Has there been any news on con merch for higher tier registration, sponsor, patron, etc.? Also, Pillow Fort merch, question mark.
I think they're just asking about swag.
Yeah, I'm not sure we have anybody from Theme here.
I don't think we've decided anything on the higher tier registration swag yet, but Aiko and or anyone from Theme, if there's anyone here.
There are some things being discussed there. We can't share them yet. That was one of the things I'll likely be able to share next month.
I want the beverage container test filmed this year.
Okay. It will be tested and it will be filmed and it will be hilarious.
Please do it against a black background, like a studio background, so that I can have that for the cover of my convention leadership book that I'm going to be writing in 10 years.
You'll really need pillows. There are several Costco's in Reno.
There's also a Walmart right across the street.
I always forget about that Walmart, but we clear it out every year.
Well, parts of it.
The alcohol.
I did actually catch the manager there this last year and was able to tell them some things they should stock up on. One of them was alcohol.
It's like alcohol, paper plates, napkins, and silverware.
And it wasn't drinking alcohol I told them they needed to stock up on. It was rubbing alcohol.
Oh, that too.
Because they stay well stocked for drinking alcohol because it's Reno. It's the rubbing alcohol that caught them off guard.
I just need to basically buy a ton of rubbing alcohol and just open up a table at the dealer's den.
The reg.goblfc.org site should be working. If you're getting an error, please DM me with a screenshot.
That could be some of your merch for the high tier members. Is here's some rubbing alcohol with your membership.
I think that's called hand sanitizer.
Oh, that's right. We were giving away free alcohol at the volunteer desk this last year.
Yep.
Yes, we were. We still have that, by the way, unless you threw it out.
You know, the best kind of correct is technically correct, so.
We got rid of a lot of it because it was expired.
Something worth maybe changing on the volunteer app is, since we're Saturday to midweek, specifying the convention days before, Saturday before and the Saturday after.
I thought I fixed that, but I'll take a look at it.
It's currently I think the order implies that it's the Saturday before. The Saturday after is not part of it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that was your intention, Levi, but that's how, because it starts on Saturday and ends on Friday, going down the list.
Yes, that is because I have yet to see anything anything happening on the day after loadout. It's done.
Yeah.
Typically we are out of the hotel by noon to 2 p.m. at most.
More like 4 or 5. Usually there's some straggler stuff, but we're usually done in time to still be able to go get dinner after loadout.
Oh, yeah, and that is also another thing. For those who stick around for loadout, there is typically a dinner afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually sushi, right?
Yeah, it's specifically for the people who've been helping all day with loadout, primarily.
It's just always the thing of like, oh, I should stay and help, and then like, oh, but the dinner is sushi. No, I'm going home.
Well, there's non-sushi available.
I know how those places work. Yes.
Yeah, Ichi's does a lot of cooked seafood too. It's actually really good.
I can't eat seafood.
But they also have
Sorry.
they also have like steak and chicken and that stuff too. They happen to have teppanyaki.
I'm aware.
Side.
Hibachi.
It may or may not necessarily be EG. Like that's not a promise. That's never a promise in a year. It's just an attempt.
Interestingly, I may be in Reno or I may be in the area for the week after BLFC as well, due to work. So I could actually maybe help out this time rather than running away as soon as the con hits, as per usual. I have to double check that, but I should be around.
I may hold you to that, Chaz.
Mhm.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, technically, I will be in the area from the middle of October to the middle of November because of work. So the fact that BLFC just happens to be in the middle of that is perfect.
How convenient.
I thought of one thing for when after Reg opens for all staff people. Just a reminder: once Reg opens, do go register. Select your badge name if you're getting an upgraded tier, shirt size, yada yada yada, and make sure you get that done. Otherwise, when we come through and start processing people, if you're not, we register for you, and Levi tends to put the thing he last ate as your badge name. So unless you want to be the thing Levi last ate, get registered when we open.
Especially if it's bread.
I mean, I'm just gonna force register you anyway.
I was about to say,
so-
like, you are a special case.
So
Yeah,
long
I
as
never
it's
have
not-
to worry about registering.
That is the tradition. If you have neglected to register yourself, but we know that you are coming, we may register you for you, and we get to pick your badge name, and you probably won't like it.
So long as it's not pizza.
So
I can confirm this. It's happened to me on, I think, like 2 occasions at this
I
point.
swear if I end up stinky again, I'm coming after Shivano.
I'm one of the developers of the Reg system, and it's happened to me. So if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone.
So, long story short, make sure to register for the convention once you can.
Yes, we'll communicate that when it's ready.
As the self-appointed meeting cat herder here, are there any other topics that we should be moving on to?
I mean, I'm assuming you wanted me to talk about something, Tycho?
I would like you to talk about what we ended up settling on for COVID policies. Yes.
Good now?
I think so, yeah. And then we can go back to BSing other topics. That there's nothing.
Yeah,
that
I
stops us
can't
from-
stay a huge amount of time because I have to do prep for someone's birthday.
Okay. Well, feel free. Please proceed.
Okay, let me pull it up. Okay, so yeah, for BLFC 2023, the COVID-19 policies, which are now on the website and should be going out on social or have gone something, it should happen soon. Vaccination is required or a booster. Put simply, the last jab has to be on or after September 1st of 2022. The reason that date was chosen, it's not a specific within anything. It's on or after September 1st, 2022. Okay. If you get one this year, you're good. The reason that date was chosen is because that is the date that the bivalent booster was authorized and rolled out. So, yeah, we talked about that. So that is why it is September 1st and not an exact thing. We're just like, because it seemed odd to us to be like, make it October 1st or whatever, or September 30th. And if somebody had just gotten the better booster a couple days before, like it seemed a little weird. So that is why that was done. So this means that if you have been to past BLFCs, you will need to get another booster on or after September 1st, 2022. A lot of people who just get one annually should already cover when you normally get them. We will be checking as before. Nothing's really changed there.
So, Verta, does it classify as basically if you were able to go last time, you're still able to go this time if you haven't gotten any more shots, or is that I can't remember the dates?
No.
Okay.
Because unless I'm forgetting, last con was in April or something, or May, or it was in the normal time. So what I was saying is that if you have been to prior BLFCs and have not gotten another booster, you will have to. If you get a booster every year, then you're good to go, or you should be, unless you get yours really early. Most of the time, they start doing it in September and October, as far as I'm aware.
The years blur together.
Yeah.
I have a question. What if you got your vaccination but don't have a way to prove it?
You have to have a way to prove it. If you have a really weird case, you can email. There's an email on that thing. It's on the second page, or on the website. It's vax
That'll be
at
vax@goblfc.org.
goblfc.org. Yeah, you can email questions there if you have a weird situation. I don't want to discuss them here because that's private information, but I can say if it's something like, I got it and I lost my card, please request a new card, right? Like, if it's something like, I've had a couple of people who are like, I got it through a clinical trial, so my documentation is really weird. That's the sort of thing that you would email about, and we can handle the specifics of that one. If it's, I've lost my card, check, ask where you got it, if you can get a receipt or a new card, or some states have medical records that you can get online. Plan ahead to try and find that stuff, because we will verify, and there's no exemptions made at the door. No exceptions made at the door, I should say.
So, just playing devil's advocate here, because you're going to have a bunch of people with issues with this. The U.S. no longer considers COVID a public health emergency as of May 11, 2023. They'll be doing away with that, which also means that funding for all of the boosters and tests and everything, that's no longer covered. So if you have someone who can't afford to get the next booster, but they've had their first two and a booster before that, et cetera, that's why a lot of these people haven't gotten these bivalent ones. A lot of places aren't actually covering it anymore. And even disregarding just the U.S., across the seas, it's been done for a while. So, I mean, you're going to run into a lot of people having issues with this, like what happened with FWA.
Right, and that's fine. To put it bluntly, this is the decision that the convention has made. We have considered these things and decided that this is the best course for our convention for this year. This is the best course for the safety of our attendees, the safety of our staff and volunteers, given the current situation. We are a private entity. We can make the rules as we desire, and we put a lot of thought and effort into deciding what to do.
Sure.
And that is where we're at. And there's no, we're not going down the hole of devil's advocate right now. This is the policy. If people have questions, they can email. I'm going to explain the basics of it, and we're moving on.
And despite it not being subsidized by other governments, it's probably still covered by your health plan, because it's covered in Canada and NHS and wherever and stuff like that.
And to be fair, not every single person has a health plan, but there are a whole bunch of different programs that do cover vaccines in different situations that can help subsidize the cost for people, even as low as, or even as straightforward as like pharmacy discount plans.
Yeah, there's also free clinics and the like for those who don't have insurance. That I don't know if that's a resource, but likely it is.
Yeah, I can find. I've shared with a few people in the past that there's a frustratingly complicated graphic of all the different programs that can potentially cover vaccine stuff that all have funding, and currently they exist, and it's just when they get used up. But that's not for us to deal with.
Bottom line, we have established a policy, and if you want to attend, that's the policy.
That's the policy. Yep. And so to finish with the policy, masking, we are no longer going to require masks. A large portion of this decision is because the hotel doesn't, and there is so much cross between areas that it's just no longer. We don't feel that it is effective enough for a policy. It's what most people seem to be itching to get done with first, and it seems to be about the best balance there. We do still suggest, if you want to wear a mask, if you want to wear a mask for your protection. Obviously, we're well past the everybody wear cloth masks for societal protection. That is, especially in like Reno and stuff, that is long gone. But if you want to protect yourself, we recommend using an N95 mask or similar. Properly worn, that filters out a lot of stuff and reduces the chance of you getting sick in general. At least with airborne things.
Yeah, wearing a mask would still definitely be recommended.
Yep.
Are we still providing masks?
I don't think we'll probably have some of like the medical kind, like the what people call surgical masks, even though they're not. But I do not think we're going to be providing N95s.
Question from the chat. We do not keep any records of anybody's vaccine, so you have to provide it every time.
Yes, we store no medical information, with very limited exceptions that are part of the exceptions when I have to check things. But your proof of vaccination is looked at con and not written down at all.
Correct.
And I also bring up the point of allowing dealers to ask any patrons to mask up in their spaces.
I mean, I don't think that was a specific thing on it, but we expect all of our attendees to request or to respect, our dealers in general.
I mean,
So,
what I was
yeah,
trying to say is that we are empowering people to ask people entering their spaces to mask up if they require.
I would say define their spaces.
I think that's a discussion that we may need to have at the director level to more clearly define that.
Sounds like it.
This meeting with this many people in it that's going to devolve into chaos very quickly if we try to have that discussion right now.
Yeah. So, in any case, the proof of vaccination stuff is basically the same as before. The only difference is we added electronic health records as a, like, what a lot of people, if you have like a doctor that's through, they use like MyChart or whatever, and that provides vaccine records. That's also fine, in addition to either your CDC card or a digital state vaccine record. As before, it has to have the printed information. It can't just be a QR code. We have no way of verifying any of that. And then international attendees just bring the documents that your country uses, or similarly the digital vaccine record. And I don't think we've had any issues with those in the past. A registration manager will look at it.
Just a quick question. I'm imagining that you only need to have the most recent dose after September 1st, 2022 on there. You don't need to have your full panel, like your full history on there. Is that right?
Yeah, we haven't discussed that, but I mean, I think that is reasonable.
I mean, the fact that you got a booster on that day kind of implies that you've already gotten your primary series, right? So
yeah.
Yeah. So as long as your last dose of some kind was September 1st, 2022 or later, I don't see why that would be an issue.
Another question from the chat: is there a date that you need to have it done by, or could you do it on the day?
We're not doing a date you need to have it done by, mostly just because the official guidance for boosters is now that boosters are effective immediately. Whether that's medically backed or not, that is the government's stance on it. So
you should.
So I would personally recommend that you not go get your booster literally the day of the convention, because you're going to be miserable, sick, potentially from booster side effects, and your body, actually doing what it's supposed to do after a booster, which is get slightly sick. You don't really want to be doing that while you're in the convention.
Another question from the chat: if masks are no longer required, does that mean the Headless Lounge will have head drying fans again?
I think we discussed that, and likely, but I'm not certain if it has been confirmed. I think we still have to talk with Fursuit Lounge lead about that.
Yeah, but
I did
Yeah,
get
to be
we did
confirmed,
get some
basically.
information from a medical professional that it should be fine, but we have not made a final decision on that, I guess is the way to put it.
Yep. Oh, that's right. We were able to reach out to somebody who
Yeah, I got
had a little bit of research to back up the answer.
Of course, yeah.
We'll go back and look at that. But I think the answer, well, I won't say for sure until we just know for sure.
And then, as before, if we have medical exemptions, medical reasons are the only exemptions offered, and you have to apply for that in advance, and it will be reviewed. The information on how to do that is on the second page of the announcement, and it's also on the website. I'm not going to go step by step through that. Just do that. If you have a medical reason you're unable to get a vaccination or booster. As always, we have the disclaimer that if federal, state, local, or venue policies change, this may change. We're not expecting any changes, but if something happens, right, we'll have to adapt. And again, if you have questions about requirements, about documentation, about exemptions, or anything vaccine related or COVID related, the email for that is vax, VAX, @goblfc.org. No other email will answer questions about vaccination stuff. It has to go there or it won't be answered. And that account will not answer anything else. Basically, that is for the exclusive use for COVID stuff, just to keep it tidy and to minimize the number of people who have any information. And if people share personal medical stuff, it's a very limited access thing. I think that covers it.
Thank you. Okay, well, I think that is everything to mention today, other than any additional questions, and then just chatting for a while if we want to.
So this one's coming from one of the Telegram chats. Since there's currently no mandatory masks, will there be required negative tests to prove people aren't contagious, or just the vaccine requirement?
Just the vaccine requirement. The goal is to help our community not get sick and die.
Yep.
Basically, and vaccines are the best. The vaccines are the best way of doing that. It's the problem with the tests is that in order to have a strong proof that somebody is not sick when they're not symptomatic, it has to be the more expensive and complicated test, which takes longer. And that's we feel the vaccine is the better option in this case.
I think those tests in and of themselves take 2 or 3 days to run, right? So
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
like a rapid test is near useless if you're not symptomatic. Like it's just the negative rate is just way too high. It just does not pick up on stuff.
Yeah, my understanding is that rapid tests are basically only useful for I am feeling sick right now. Is this COVID or is it not? Yeah. And that's about all they're really useful for. And even then, they
still have a decently high false negative rate.
Yeah.
And even then, you were supposed to serial test, so you supposed to have a bunch of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I had it back in January, and it didn't show up until I was like, oh, I lost my smell. Oh, okay. Or last January, and it was like, oh, now it finally showed up. But
yeah, I got COVID at last BLFC, and the test I took when I was definitely had symptoms was basically, if I squint really, really hard, I think I can see a line, And I did another one the next day, and it's like big bright line. But I was definitely sick, and the test is like, I might be here. So yeah, it's just not
Anyway, you should probably not be attending.
Or at the very least, please wear a mask if you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would rather you isolate, and we haven't really discussed this, but last times we've had if you are sick, especially if you're sick on like Friday, or whatever our version of Fridays this year, early in the con, and you're like, I am sick and I am going to go home, we will refund your registration fee.
Yeah, there's no
As
reason
sort
for
of
us
like
to not continue doing that.
Yeah, sort of like it's the little amount that we can do to sort of thank you for being safe.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with continuing to do that. Morse and Chaz, you can consider that the official permission. I'll just make that executive call right now.
Yeah,
perfect.
We can afford to refund people if they're doing the responsible thing and going home. That's fine.
I'm waxing the refund button right now.
That won't make it go any faster.
That just sounds.
But it'll make it really shiny.
Crash, can you add racing stripes to the refund button?
Good Lord. Please no, they have enough other things that they need to do.
Was there anything about the Gmail transition and also the Slack as far as
Yeah, basically, long story short, the Gmail transition is complete. You should have received a email to the email we have on file. If you are a department lead or you are expected to receive emails for a department, if you have somehow not gotten that, or it's been a while and it doesn't accept your password, chances are you need a password reset, which either I or Ghost can do. If you have gotten that and you believe that does apply to you, I would please ask you, please log in, please make sure it works, please make sure that we address any questions you might have.
So if we have not received that,
then just take me aside after.
Yeah, if you're somebody who is expected to answer emails, basically, it's not being sent out for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's typically department head, and some departments might have some of their seconds assigned to check emails.
Is it a specific welcome email?
Yeah, it just says welcome to Gmail. We've set up an email at your name at team.goblfc.org.
Okay, yeah, then
log in.
Is that correct? Is that basically everyone's email is going to be name@team.goblfc.org?
Yes, and
okay. So you could search your email on the term team.goblfc.org and probably be able to find the welcome email, right?
Yeah, I have it.
If you search your personal email for it, yes.
Yes.
And then is everybody going to be using Slack? Is that the deal?
Yes, that is the goal. Inevitably, we are once we get the automation going. When myself and Shivano go through and formally accept your application and assign you to a department, which department you are assigned to determines what happens to you. If you have not done so already, if you're in a department that handles personal information, you'll be sent a NDA to sign. Once you have signed that and we've received it, then it will send you an invite to Slack.
And if you aren't a department that handles that, I'm assuming it just goes to the Slack step.
Exactly.
And if I recall correctly, we also set up department emails in Gmail, but those are just aliased to the person or persons that are in charge of that department, correct?
They're basically Google
groups. They're handled in different ways depending, but it has been handled.
Okay. So if I email registration at, it's going to go to the right person.
Yes.
Cool.
We still, I think we should put out there that if you need to contact anybody and you don't know for sure the email, please use the contact form on our website.
Yes.
So
and that contact form has also been updated as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like if you are not 100% sure, I'm just picturing somebody being like, oh, I think it was reg at or registration at, or you know how it goes. Just use the contact form. It has it all in there.
And we have a catch-all to cover anything else, right? That if somebody tries to email an address that doesn't exist.
Yes.
Okay, good. But we don't want people sorting through the catch-all constantly either. So
that is not an actively monitored box, I guess.
But at least it's covered. That's all I was getting at. Cool. Sounds good.
Levi, do you want to take a paragraph to explain why Slack is so cool and the things that it's buying us with yet another chat app? Because I was certainly a bit reluctant until I started seeing the value of it.
I don't, but I will. No. The long story short is that we did a volunteer feedback survey right after last year's con. We got a huge outpouring. First off, if you did the survey, thank you. We read every single response, even the bad ones, where we can improve. The vast majority let us know that a lot of times they felt like they really could not. Okay, I've put my application in. What do I do now? And a lot of them didn't know, how do I get a hold of my lead? Where's my schedule? When do I find out my schedule? Things of that nature. And so the hope is with Slack, we will have one platform for everyone to be on the same page in the same place so that those questions can be answered fairly efficiently.
If I can add to that.
Sure.
There's a little bit also of compliance with keeping track of information and enabling higher ups, so to speak, like directors and the chair and so on, to look into in the conversations that departments under them are having. The current situation with there being a lot of Telegram groups makes that impossible, right? There's no way for somebody to know if somebody has made another chat for something in Telegram unless you're specifically told about it. So with Slack, directors and con chair and so on have visibility into that kind of thing. It helps with communication in that way too.
Right. So those directors and such will be able to pop in and look at those other chats from time to time and kind of keep their finger on the pulse of what's going on. Is that an accurate way of describing that?
Yeah, yes. Basically just so that people won't start up chats randomly in little corners and so on.
Also,
now, that said, I think that private person-to-person messages in Slack are either they're fully private, or even if they aren't fully private, I don't think our admins are going to be making a habit of digging into people's private conversations unless for some like legal reason they have to, right?
I mean, yeah, there's no official policy on that, but yeah, no one's going to go digging into messages unless we get subpoenaed or something.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
And nobody in this room wants their Telegram records subpoenaed.
Nope.
Yeah, no, it's a pain in the ass, and they will get them, or
that's
you
a
will.
Very good point.
Yeah, either you'll have to produce them, or if you delete them, then you get to go to court and be charged with the crime. So yeah,
I guess that is another good reason to keep convention communication out of Telegram.
It was previously incredibly frustrating to try to find insert person's name and have to check Telegram and Twitter and Discord and call their cell phone and text their burner phone and do 18 other backflips to try to find one person in one thing.
Yeah, and the goal is to have everyone in one place. Now, there's always going to be people that no matter how much we ask, they just will not do it. It makes me sad, but it is what it is. But for the most part, we just want to get everyone on there. The sooner it gets set up, the sooner we get everyone on board, the sooner people can become more comfortable with it. They can set settings to their to how they like with notifications, and go from there.
Thanks, Levi.
One caveat with Slack is it only works on the currently supported versions of Windows and currently supported versions of Mac OS. So if you're not on one of those, you're shit out of luck.
Really?
Well, I guess Glitch can't use it with Linux, darn.
What? Wait, what are we?
Slack
doesn't work with Android.
Don't they have?
It does. It does work on mobile. Yeah, it works on mobile, and they do also have a web client.
I was going to say, isn't there a browser client?
Yeah, like there are ways to use it. It's not like Windows 11 or nothing.
Yeah, I didn't mean to the exclusion of other platforms. I meant that it actually the thick app actually checks what version of Windows you're on or what version of Mac OS, and if you're not running the currently supported versions, they cut you off. I don't know why they do that, but
There is
which is funny because the desktop app just feels like it's a wrapper for the website.
It absolutely is.
Well,
it's
that's how it's
straight up
desktop
fucking
apps are made
Electron
now.
app.
Yeah, like half of desktop apps now are just Electron, which is actually Chrome.
This
I'm
app
pretty
that
sure,
we're
pretty sure
using right
Discord is
now
included.
is
Yeah,
just an Electron app.
We're
Yeah.
getting into the weeds of the technology here. The one other thing is that sometimes Slack doesn't like behaving unless it has a perfectly stable connection, which often doesn't happen on people's cell phones at convention. So often Telegram works better for one-to-one pings of, hey, check Slack please, because notifications go haywire. But other than that, Slack is fantastic.
Right. So ideally keep the communication in Slack, but if somebody's not responding, ping them on Telegram to say, hey, please look at Slack.
Yeah, I'm not
is the takeaway from that,
like,
I think.
We're trying to find the balance between, usable, something that works well for the organization, and then something that isn't ridiculously a pain in the rear. If you're messaging somebody one-on-one on Telegram, fine. Like, try and keep it to Slack if it's con related, but we're not gonna hunt people down. But if I'll make it clear, once this is working, you are not allowed to start group chats in Telegram for con stuff in general, especially before con. We'll figure out how reliable it is at con. If we need to have a workaround, we'll deal with that. But group con business needs to happen on Slack. And if you need somebody else to be involved, like somebody who's not a volunteer or whatever, the admins and the directors, whomever we have given permissions, there are people who can invite non-people or non-staff people to pop onto like just one channel. That's a thing that can happen.
Oh,
good to know.
You can set your name. I don't know what Levi has the name set, but I don't think it's real name.
We'll look into it.
Yeah.
Time check.
Any other questions from YouTube and or Discord?
I have a question. Where's the pillow fort?
Any relevant questions?
It's me.
Going once. Twice. Oh, chaos is
No, Stitch. It's always the Stitch. The Stitch has
Right.
it running.
Thanks, everybody.
Will we be using real names on Slack?
No.
No.
No, we're just going to use
Resounding
free
no.
names because that's what everybody knows. Like, nobody knows my actual name, really. A few people do.
with all of the paperwork that I have had to put your name and my name on.
Right. I guess I was a bad example, but most of us don't know each other's real life names. So no, it makes sense to stick with furry names and nicknames inside Slack because then you actually remember who you're talking to.
You made me check to see if my real name was here on Discord.
Yeah, nobody knows my real name at all. I keep that completely hidden.
Mysterious.
Secrets of the universe. I think that sounds like done with meeting and on to social. So the people who are not looking to hang around are welcome to enjoy the rest of your evening. And anybody who does want to hang around and chat, will ask that they hop over to the Summit Pavilion, which is under Biggest Little Lounge in Discord. It's just the room just has slightly different moderation rules.
And we look forward to seeing you.
Yep. Who's providing the snacks?
Josie, you can go ahead and